Okay, everybody, we're about to start our second of two interviews tonight. Gene Gabriel is up next. If you missed it, we just interviewed TK Richardson. Great guy, just been
Awesome
fresh in
guy.
LA. He's been hustling for only been out here for a few months. We're excited to talk to Gene. We're going to be inviting him in next. And if you haven't had a chance so far, check out the Just Drive the Movie campaign on Indiegogo and our plan to pay it forward.
While you're on there, you can earn free perks through our referral program. And if you look further down the page, you can see someone could win a money perk. Ooh, very exciting. So as Chris said, today is the first day of our round 3 interviews. We had 2 previous rounds where we had the actors either send in video submissions for the first round or come into the LA live auditions that we live streamed on YouTube. If you haven't seen them, please go to our YouTube page, Just Drive the Movie. You can see the playlist from the first round and the second round. The second round, we had every actor send in a new set of sides that they videotaped themselves, and we let everybody out in the world check it out, make comments, votes, views, all the above. And
in the dark.
I like the dark. The dark is my place. Yes, sorry, Chris interrupted me. So yes, everyone in the social world participated with our second round. We had a lot of engagement, a lot of views. Very, very proud of all of the actors. I gotta say, congratulations, actors. I don't know what you did and how you did it, but brava, because you were getting hundreds of views in about the week we gave you to have it posted before we had to count up how much engagement there was. And as we told everyone at the end of the first round, it was not a popularity contest. And I think we proved that. I would like to say that we proved it because some people had more views and they just weren't exactly what we were thinking for the part. It wasn't necessarily their look because obviously we already asked them for the first round to come back. It was just everyone does a character a different way. And it was just a slight different bit than we were expecting. Doesn't mean anyone did anything wrong. I guess if you go to the playlist right now, you can see that everyone that we had for the second round that's made it onto the third, every single actor and actress has read it differently. They all have a slight little bit different, which is also why in round 4, we are going to be doing chemistry reads amongst all 3 of the roles. We need to make sure, since there are only 3 actors on screen the entire time, that they click. And with as many talented people as we've been finding, it's going to be hard to see who doesn't click. That's what it's going to boil down to is maybe we'll have 12 actors play all 3 roles and just swap them out for every 15 minutes of the movie. That would be great. So Gene should be joining us in just a moment. The invitation has been sent out.
Tomorrow, we'll have Amanda Pasternak and Michael Ahante will be our 2 interviews. Once again, at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Michael.
And 7:15 Pacific time will be Amanda Pasternak.
It'll be very exciting. We'll have another Jeremy and our first Sasha.
Yes, our very first Sasha.
Just to give everyone a heads up, our schedule is every night except for Saturday. Every night at 6 o'clock and 7:15 Pacific Standard Time. If you're in another time zone, please remember, we're a little bit behind you. And on Saturday, seeing as everyone has exciting things to do Saturday night and enjoying the summer, from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. Pacific time, we are going to be having 2 Sashas interviewing. So please come check them out. You are going to be very happy. We have so many talented people.
Gene was in 2 of my favorite pieces of content.
Pieces of content?
Yes, pieces of content.
Pieces of content.
Sopranos.
Is that a piece of content?
And he was also in Any Given Sunday. He was one of the football players in Any Given Sunday. Oh, I think we got Gene coming in.
I think you must have mentioned something good.
I think I'm here.
Hi, Gene.
Hi, can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's see. I made it past the first hurdle. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
hello.
Hi.
Oh,
Are we good?
We've already improved since.
I had to install a plug-in and do jumping jacks and fry an egg. but I'm here.
Well, whereabouts are you, Gene?
Los Angeles. I'm just in my backyard.
Oh, all right.
We got our 6-month-old crawling around, and she's found her voice and shattering glass and stuff like that. So.
Oh boy.
It just knows it means she has really good lungs. That's what it means.
Exactly.
So, were you originally from New York?
I was born in St. Vincent's Hospital. It doesn't exist anymore. Lived in Queens. I was mainly raised in North Bergen, New Jersey. But then in my adult years, I lived in Miami for a little while, and then I went back to New York and lived in Queens up until.
I thought you were still. I thought you were still in New York City. I didn't know you were out in LA.
No, I'm here. When
did you decide to move out to Los Angeles? What sparked the big move?
It actually happened via Vegas. It's a long story. My wife and I we met on a blind date 15 years ago, and she's a dancer, and she got hired to do the Celine Dion show in Vegas.
Oh wow!
When, and at the same time, I got a show called Take Me Out, and I went to London. She went to Belgium to rehearse for that, and then she went to Vegas, and I went back to New York because that was part of our contract. We were supposed to do the show in New York, but then it got picked up, and we went to Broadway. So I was flying back and forth to see her on my off days, which was it was a Sunday night through Tuesday morning. That got old real quick, but I stayed with the show for 11 months, and then I moved to Vegas to be with her, and then we were closer to this coast, so we were just like, well, you know what? Let's try Los Angeles. So,
how long did you guys last in Vegas?
5 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it's a long time for a marriage to hold in Sin City, man. Good for you.
Yep. I know every back road in that place, so I know how to avoid the Strip like nobody's business.
Kind of how everyone here avoids Hollywood Boulevard.
Exactly. And in New York, it's Times Square. We stay away from it. So, but unfortunately, every place I worked was in Times Square. I worked in a restaurant on 48th and Broadway. Then my first Broadway show was 48th and Broadway, and then I did another show on Broadway, 47th and Broadway. So I couldn't escape.
So bringing up Broadway, you performed both in London and on Broadway. Which one did you enjoy more? Which one do you think?
Broadway. I mean, I loved London. London was great. It was an amazing experience. It was, the Dunbar Warehouse, and it was incredible. But I mean, Broadway, that was the thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
I have so much respect for actors that do the live performances on stage, and that the fact that and doing it every single night and still being able to nail it. It's an amazing art, and I still am amazed every single night how many shows they perform, and just over and over and over again that they can do that whole dialogue.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, we were really lucky with that first show. We had an amazing cast, and we bonded because we ended up being together close to 2 years, with London and the Public Theater and then Broadway. And it was this actor by the name of Dennis O'Hare. I don't know if you're familiar with him. We used to call him the conductor because he would start the show with a 4-page monologue to the, obviously to the audience. That was the introduction of his character, but that was what we based our entire performance on, wherever he went, because he never held on to anything, which was really interesting. Like, he never tried to recreate. If something worked the night before, he never tried to recreate it. Never changed the dialogue, just how he delivered it.
That is awesome.
And then we would all jump on to that. Whatever vibe he created that night, we were just like, all right, this is the show we're going to do tonight. And we would just go with that. Yeah.
So I'm guessing you have a knack for handling lots of pages of dialogue then.
Yeah.
That's good, because the Tony role is pretty much on screen the whole time, man. It's I'd say 84 of the 90 minutes is all Tony.
That's what I figured, but yeah, I'm ready for that.
So I have a question. What made you go over from the theater side to the film side, or what sparked that interest and got you to switch over to that aspect of
Well,
the
ever since I
entertainment?
was little, I wanted to be in film. I wanted to work in film since I was 7 years old. My dad took me to see a little film called Star Wars. And I saw Harrison Ford up there, and I said, I want to be that guy. And I never changed course. So I always wanted to work in film. I just became an actor because, you know, being on the East Coast or whatnot, it's just like, well, I want to do theater. All right, I'll do theater. You know, I'll do commercials. I'll do film. I'll do television. I'll do whatever comes my way. Yeah. So, and then I discovered improv too. So I've been an improviser for like 20 years as well. So
yeah, you started Just the Funny comedy troupe, right?
Yep. It's still going strong, and they're a school now, and they teach and they host festivals and stuff like that. And every time I go back there, they pull me back in. So
they have a ceremony for you. It's nice.
It's kind of like hosting Saturday Night Live when you go back.
It is kind of, yeah. I get to guest in anytime I show up. Yeah,
that's cool. So how'd you get into opening up a whole troupe and all that on your own?
Well, this was 20 years ago. I answered an ad in the paper for an improv troupe. I went in, I auditioned, and normally you're supposed to, you know, work the door and work the lighting booth and all that stuff for like 6 months while you train to do the shows and stuff like that. But it just so happened that they had a lot of people sort of bail on them, like as soon as I joined. So within 2 weeks, I was thrown into the shows, and they had enough faith in me to throw me into the shows. And I've always been like that. I've always been like, I'll go out on stage. Just before I go out on stage, I'm like, what's the gist of this? All right, great. You know, it's improv, right? And I became a company member within less than a month, which should have taken me 6 months. I was with that company we were together with them for 3 years. Things weren't panning out with we weren't gelling anymore. 9 of us weren't gelling anymore with the guy who ran the improv troupe. Nothing bad on him. It was just like we didn't like the way he was running things, and he wouldn't acknowledge our you know what we brought up to him. So we decided to break off and do our own troupe, and it's been there ever since 1998.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody that we might recognize that's passed through there and gone on?
No, everybody's sort of the people who've come out of there are journeymen. So like, you know,
grinders.
You know their names, but hi. Sorry, my wife's holding my daughter up to me. You wouldn't recognize them. Like you would recognize them by face, but not by name. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And a lot of them are here now, and they're all over the place. We're all up in Iowa West, and you know,
you're taking it over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 2 specific projects I have to ask you about.
Yep.
The first one, what was your experience like on Sopranos?
Sopranos was amazing. I got to work with Dominic Chianese, you know, from Godfather 2, Uncle Junior.
Yeah, Uncle Junior.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was fantastic. It's funny because that role was supposed to be one cop, and then when I got to set, they split it up into 2 cops, and I was supposed to have more of the dialogue. And there was this older actor who was like, no, I'm supposed to be cop number 1 and whatnot. And I said, all right, that's cool, you know. And Timothy Van Patten was the director, and he was like, just do the stuff. And then the whole time I was just like, hey, it's cool. They ended up cutting him completely out for one reason or another, and all my stuff stayed. So I was like, yay! But it was amazing. We filmed on the courthouse steps in Newark. In Newark, New Jersey, and the table read was the real crazy thing for me because when I got there, I was between Paulie Walnuts and Stephen Zahn, so and it was insane. It was just banana. The 2 of them are bananas anyway, so it was fun. And you know, James Gandolfini walked in, and Edie Falco, and all these people. It was just, and Joey, they call him Joey Pants, but Joe Pantoliano. Yeah, it's the episode where he got killed.
Oh, nice. That's what you're in?
Yeah, so I had to keep that a secret for like 6 months.
Oh. Yeah, you had some serious insider information there.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about and then the other one? I know it was only a small role way back in the day, but Any Given Sunday What was
What
that
Sunday,
like?
that was a lot of fun. I ended up I had a bigger role, but I ended up getting cut out of that.
Wait, they actually cut stuff out of that? Wasn't it like 3 hours long?
It was, and still they cut stuff out of that. I was a Sharks player, so I mean, I got to see Jamie Foxx and LL get into it a lot. I got to work with Al Pacino and
wait a minute. So those two actually didn't like each other offset either, because their characters were at each other's throats the whole time as well.
That was real. That was real. And what they would do, was what Oliver Stone would do was put Bill Bellamy in between them all the time. I don't know if you go back and you watch, he's always there because he would diffuse the situation and he would have them like go in their different directions. Because Bill Bellamy,
and for him, he probably felt it was
laugh all the time. So yeah, that was interesting. It was fun. It was a fun job. It was good.
Yeah, you've been on some sets with some serious names, man. Congratulations. Those are some great experiences.
Thanks.
So I have a question about your training and your methods. Since you've been doing this, you probably have certain tricks of your own that just make it easier for you.
Yeah.
Are there any ones that you do on set? Like you have a certain, I got to spin around 3 times before I enter a door because it makes sure to... Superstitions, habits, methods, training. Do we have to call you Tony?
I'm not a superstitious guy. I'm not one of those guys like that you have to call me Tony or whatnot. I guess it's because of the improv background. I just like to get into the character and what's happening right now. What are we doing right now? What are we discussing right now? You know, but when you say cut, it's cut. You know, I don't take it home with me. I'm not going to walk around like Tony brooding, you know, on set or any of that stuff. Yeah, no, I'm chill. I like to smile when I can, you know. Yeah, there's none of that stuff with me. I can't think of anything that I've ever had to do. I mean, theater probably I'm more superstitious about than film. Film, I just know, you know.
You grew up and you do it again.
Yeah, exactly. You know, plain, you know.
Yeah, after acting on stage and not getting any multiple takes and having the audience sitting right there staring at you, film seems like it's really a walk in the park compared to that for an actor.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've got like I said, I've got more superstitions for stage for sure. And that show that went to Broadway, that was I don't know how to explain this. It became famous because there's a 10-minute shower scene in that show, and so I made my Broadway debut completely naked, showering in front of large crowds of people. Yeah,
that takes being ballsy to a whole new level. Nice.
Exactly.
Was the water on stage, or was there real water?
Huh?
Do they fake the water on stage, or was
there was water? The way the set was always set up is there was a grate and there's a drain underneath the grate. So because it's about Take Me Out is imagine Derek Jeter back in the day at the height of his career. Imagine he decided to have a press conference, not discuss it with his teammates, not discuss it with his handlers, nobody, and just tell the world that he was gay, and not think that there would be any repercussions. That's where the show starts.
Is it like in the locker room as he walks out of the shower?
One of his scenes is like that, but ours was the team showering. He's not even in that scene. That's the beauty of the whole thing. It's how we deal with each other now that he's made that announcement, and we don't know.
Oh, is there another one?
Now everybody's looking over their shoulder. Nobody knows how to deal with each other. Yeah, but it was and when I got the script, when I first read it, because I got there like in the beginning stages, it was just somebody like a towel snap. Somebody's butt was out, and it was a towel snap. By the time I got to the first rehearsal, it's a full-on like 8-minute shower scene.
And you
You're like, what happened? Something happened where someone told you, you know what we need? Some nudity. That's what this show is needing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you get a nudity bump?
No.
Oh.
No.
See, it's like the complete opposite with film and stage when it comes to nudity. Nudity, it's not recorded, but you have to do it over and over again. film, you do it once, but it's out there.
Yeah,
People watch it over and over again.
It's out there forever. Yeah.
So, Gene, we've only done one interview so far, but we're going to be asking everybody what their thoughts were on the social casting process. This is the first time we've done anything like this. As far as we know, it's the first time pretty much anyone's really done anything like this. You're a veteran actor who's done probably a gazillion auditions and things like that. What are your thoughts on it? Pros, cons?
I thought it was a pretty innovative idea. I enjoyed it because the way I see it, that's where we're headed. You know, this is the way of the future. This is how it's going to be 10 years down the road. I mean, people can argue with you and fight you and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter till you're blue in the face. This is where we're going. So I appreciate it. I thought it was cool. My only worry was like, oh, I don't want this to be snakes on a plane. You know what I mean? Like the internet created snakes on a plane. So, but obviously with this format and this film, you couldn't end up with snakes on a plane. Snakes in a limo, maybe, but not.
That was one of the biggest things going into it, is we didn't want it to be a popularity contest where we were just stuck with whoever it was. We wanted it to be more of a collaboration where obviously the audience is who they like and connect with is important to us in that regards, but also being able to embody the actor and the acting skills had to be a given before that mattered.
Yeah. No, I dug it. I thought it was a cool approach. And like I said, it's where we're headed. It's the way of the future. It's the now, you know? I think it's going to be the norm.
Well, we can't thank you enough for taking part in it and being a good sport about the whole thing, especially with your background and experience. We had a few people. We even had one of the casting services refuse to put the casting notice up because we were going to live stream the auditions. Like it shouldn't be the actor's choice whether or not they still wanted the opportunity and the exposure. They were just so appalled by the idea that they refused to put the post up. And then there was some other actors that they wanted the role, but they didn't want to audition for it in that sense. And it's like, everything we're going to be doing is going to be social and engaging. And if you can't engage with the audience from the start, like how is that going to help you or help us?
Exactly. And I get, you know, having been in this business for so long, I get what's up with them. They don't want to have reviews on their audition and stuff like that. But I mean, if you can't handle the reviews, this is not the business to be in, especially nowadays. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of the hardest things for so many actors out there is just getting in front of a casting director, getting in front of anyone who's even looking for talent. And that was one of the things we wanted to make possible is, yes, we're casting for our own thing, but we know that there's so many other filmmakers out there who would love the opportunity just to know that there's more talent. And just because you're reading our stuff doesn't mean that they aren't taking it and going, you could probably read our stuff just perfect. Like I could see you in this role. And that was one of our biggest goals, is making sure that for the actors, everyone who's participating, you're getting something out of this too. Even if it is just getting a little bit of promotion. And one more, we think you're definitely in the right business. We're glad you're doing this because we're happy to see so many people, so many talented people. Like it's astonishing how many people there are out there who were willing to give a new thing a try. It was awesome.
No, it's great. I think it's a great idea, and I get them. Some people are old school, and that's that, you know.
Well, part of it is their teachers are teaching them old school. Like their teachers only knew before there was internet, when the only way you could get stuff is to send an actual headshot and a resume, a physical one, and then wait forever. And if you want to
enter your pager and go to a payphone.
Exactly.
I'm not an actor. I have no desire to be an actor, but it seems to me that any opportunity to perform in front of a camera or an audience and have people see you and have a chance to possibly fall in love with you or want to see where you go, and I don't know, it just seems like that you can't have enough opportunities to connect with an audience.
I agree with that. 100%. That's why YouTube is fantastic. You know, you can do your own stuff now. You can do that back in the day, you know.
And with this project in particular, we plan on having like live streams with the set and some wrap up shows and that. So for us, the actors' personalities as an individual and all of that, that's more what's going to be on camera. That's more what's going to be speaking about the project, and that's more what people are going to be getting used to. So if they can't handle the live streamed audition, they were never going to handle what was going to come from come beyond that.
I agree with that. 100%. Yeah, you know.
So with the Tony role particularly, it's a very unique kind of situation and circumstance is because it's so centered around that. We really want an actor and a lead who is a partner, that it's our project. It's my ticket, and I mean the production team, the people off the camera. It's our ticket to make the best movie we can to get where we want to go. But at the same time, we would like to have a partner on camera that they see this as their star vehicle, that opportunity to set themselves up as a leading man. So in that sense, we're looking for more from the actor that takes on that role than just the person that shows up for the couple days on set, gets the day rate, all of that. We need a willing collaborator. Yeah,
I mean but that's how I like to work. I don't any project that I've ever been on, I want to collaborate. I don't want to go in and be like, that just doesn't sit with me. I want to hey, let's work this out. Let's discuss this. Let's figure it out. Hey, maybe, can we try it? And that brings me to a question for you guys. I had written down my questions, which.
Oh, I was just about to set you up for them.
We love questions.
But, how open are you to collaboration? You know what I mean? Like, if you never know what idea might pop into any one of our heads when we're working on this film,
I'm the type of person that I love choices, and I don't think there's any story that possibly benefits from a single perspective. That the more perspectives you can have on it, the more you can focus it into the best option, the best choice, and the best way to go with that. So whether it's on set or the writing process or any of that, I encourage anyone that's part of our team to throw the ideas out there. And ideally, if you're on my team, you trust me enough to sort through the ideas and pick and choose which ones we can apply to the best end goal. But I want as much collaboration as possible so we can find together what the best way is.
Great. That's how I work. So I think
start firing away with the questions. Anything you want to know, it's all on the table.
This is going to be silly, but I just don't remember anymore because I have daddy brain. But this is a SAG film, right?
It's actually open at this point, depending on who we cast for actors and all of that. But our intentions are we would like to get union health insurance and be part of the industry at some point in time. So we would like this to be at the very least a SAG or ultra low budget film or SAG new media and start wagging the dog the right way.
And as the producer, I can say that SAG already has the papers. They know that we're literally waiting until we have an actor who is cast and is SAG. They understand where we're at with this and how we're doing the casting process. So as soon as we find someone who's SAG, they are ready to go with the paperwork and all that fun stuff.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
We have that base covered.
I have daddy brain, so thank you for answering.
Of course.
How open are you to, and I'm not talking about, hey, wacky comedy hour. I'm talking about how open are you to improvisation within the parameters of the story. And I'm not saying, hey, it's wacky comedy hour. Yeah. I'm talking about within the character and within the story.
My thinking as a writer is I like to get what's on the page at least once, and then we can play with it any way possible. So the director editor of me has as many multiple choices and options to play with in post as we can. So
awesome.
As long as we got what's on the page there once or twice, we can do as many to have fun with it as possible, which another way that kind of allows us to have fluidity with that is the way this whole project to be shot is over 15 days on a single sound stage. So it's going to be set up with a limo that has flyaway walls, all of that stuff, and it's a come and go type of operation. We come in the morning, and the whole thing's getting shot chronologically in order. So it's when we hit the end of the day, it's stop, get it done, come the next day, pick up where we left off. It's not we have to push through to get this shot, get this whole set done, because by tomorrow we have to move on. It's going to be
you don't have to worry about daylight or night or planes or
exactly.
It's going to be a very, very relaxed and intimate setting where we can just focus on getting what we want to get. And to be honest, there's really not any kind of stunts or elaborate type things that go on in that sense. There's
it's a story based movie.
There's a chase sequence done. And the character. Yeah, the third act is a chase sequence, but it's done with a lot of effects and things like that. So there's no. You
aren't getting out of the limo, literally running down the highway, trying not to get hit by anything. Like nothing takes place outside the limo.
Our sole focus
You will be so relaxed by the end of 2 weeks.
Our sole focus is on the performance and the cinematography. That's
Great.
The whole thing is centered around.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's see. My next question was going to be how many locations, but you answered that.
One location, air-conditioned green screen stage.
Fantastic.
We will have crafty. We will have all the above, everything that we should have. It will be nice.
Fantastic. I'm excited for that. If I get picked. When were you thinking about beginning filming?
It all depends right now on the crowdfund campaign. To be perfectly honest with you, the crowdfund campaign is the key to everything we're doing. The faster that happens, the more likely we can go into production right away. Ideally, if the campaign hits, we'll be in a production within 30 to 60 days after the end of the campaign. If it doesn't hit, then we're going to have to continue to develop the project further. We've had
outside interest who, if we did well on the campaign, got at least part of it, they would be willing to jump in and cover the rest of it. We've had a lot of outside interests on it, but most of them are turned off when we bring up the charity aspect and that we want to give away money. Like, seriously turned off. I've never seen people be that anti-charity, but
yeah.
Apparently it's a side.
The charity angle and splitting the equity with the cast and crew so it's everybody's film is kind of a deal breaker with certain production companies and things like that, but they're still interested. So if we got viral and we got a bunch of attention, then all of a sudden they want to be a part of the chain and all of these other things.
Right.
But we do have sales agents from our first film. We do have sales projections and all of that for the traditional model, if in fact we have to go that way and package it correctly. But to be completely forward and honest with you, if we have to go the traditional model, the biggest asset we have is the quality of the lead role. So then it has to come down to we have to play the game of the name to get the money and the whole balancing act. But if we have the right actor and somebody that's a partner and a collaborator on the project, and they understand that they're not going to have a star vehicle if there's no film finance, and we work together to solve those problems, that's the ideal scenario for us. Is we want somebody. We don't want to have to go the name route just to get the financing and lose the whole intimacy and personal level of what we're trying to do with all of this.
Because just because you go the name route doesn't mean you're getting the talent you want anyway for the role. True. It's just whoever makes the investor and the distributors happy, and that doesn't mean it makes the film happy in any way whatsoever. Right. We'd like to have the film be the main focus and have us be able to get that done, and then just rely on who we have already lined up for the sales stuff to make sure we can get all the money back from the crowdfund and give it on to more charities.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I totally get it. Because this business is always trying to answer an emotional equation with a scientific or a mathematical answer.
Yeah, and that's not the way the arts work at all. No.
And it's always a trifecta of catch-22s with the casting, distribution, and financing trinity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure they told you to put a dog in it and give it a military angle and
See,
have a Latino lead and
And the other aspect of it, being brutally honest, is the storyline hits a little too close to home for a lot of the established industry, especially the established industry that plays nice with way up the food chain. So it's not exactly a mainstream Warner Brothers wants to finance this movie type of project. And even more so, it's more of a story that if it was picked up and financed by a company like Warner Brothers, the authenticity and the sincerity of the story would be severely contradictory. It would be contradictory to the theme of what it is.
Right.
So it's a very delicate balancing act of kind of going down our own road, but still needing to play on that road a little bit.
Yeah, I got you. I know. I get it.
Your background's in filmmaking and directing and that, right?
Yeah. So I've been there. I know what you're talking about for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Here we go. So the plans for the film, can you tell me a little bit more about the charity angle and what your plans are? I know that there was something about free screenings and stuff like that. If you could elaborate more on that.
Sure.
Am I right?
You get the just for now, fill in the blanks where.
Okay. So the charity aspect. With the previous films that we made, we always gave to a charity after the fact once it was released. And so with this one, we want to make it as part of the campaign because, like everyone knows, if there's no audience, there's no art. And therefore, arts should show the support back to the audience and the community, which is what we're trying to get as just a norm for all filmmakers, is make it a reciprocal circle. Just keep expecting it that way. And so with the charities, seeing as part of the storyline that the Tony character has found out the bad people are hurting children is the best way to say it. So what we're doing is we're raising money for children's charities in any aspect, anything that is pro-children, helping children, medical, just in life in general, any way we possibly can. That is what our main focus is going to be for this film. We want to bring awareness to that aspect. The one thing is when we approached different charities beforehand, and we're trying to ask them if they'd like to join up before we start this campaign so that everyone would know who it's directed to. Most of them just don't want the theme of children being hurt and in the style that they are in this, because
even if you're
it's not shown in the film, it is explained that is what Tony was going to whistleblow on, were some very bad people in a pedophilia ring. And so just by having, even if we don't show it, even if it's mentioned only once in the script, it's something that a lot of charities don't even want a Google search associating their name with.
But they'll take the money.
So after the fact, they'll be happy to take the money. So what we decided instead is, instead of locking ourselves in to one specific charity,
they won't promote themselves or our ability to make money for them.
Whatever. That we're leaving it up to any of the donors, any of the backers, whatever charity. It doesn't have to be a giant one. It can be a small one. But we're going to make it so that whoever has the most backing votes by the end of the campaign, that'll be the 10% right off the bat that goes straight to a charity. And then the other 90% would go to the film to get the film made. And then once the film is released, that normal 90%, the normal amount that would have to be repaid to a private investor, instead would be going as a donation to charity.
I got you.
What we're doing is we're just using what would have been
backing what we're doing.
Yeah. Right. We're circling it back around to make sure that, in this case, children still have a chance to do everything to make their life better, because in a few years they're going to be adults just like us, and we're going to need everyone to be getting along. So make the world better.
I'll take the tour.
Yeah. Oh, Chris wants to take the tour.
And if we're able to raise enough, or get the film made and then successfully raise it before it goes into distribution, we've got avenues. There's a company called Tug that they do third-party theater bookings and all of that on kind of a social crowdsourcing way. Where you can book theater screenings. You don't have to pay up front for the theater screening. People can reserve tickets, and as long as it hits a certain number of tickets before a week of the screening happens. There's no out-of-pocket expenses for the creators. It's a normal ticket price for the people that go, and it's a way for indie films to get into the mainstream theatrical ones. Awesome. We've talked to the people at Tug, and they're willing to give us at least 200 theaters to start with for an opening night, so we can almost basically circumvent the theatrical system. And then we would have these event pages before we go into production, so we can start pushing with all the live stuff we're doing. We can start pre-selling tickets and reserving tickets to theater screenings before it happens. To promote that theater release, what we want to do is go on a cross-country 30-day bus tour, where we'd have basically a tour bus wrapped with promotions for the film and all of that. And we do 20 cities around the country where we'd host a free screening that raised money with donations for the screening for local charities. So based on backers of the campaign, certain areas that have the highest percentage of backers, we'd go to that city, or certain reward packages they can actually pick for their city to come there. The screening is an advanced free screening, same as the industry does anyway, with giving away free screenings so people go to talk about it. Except it's for charity. People want to give a donation on the way out the door. Any swag we sell there would go to the local charity and that. So each stop around the country is basically a rolling reality show that also promotes the film as you lead up to the kickoff. So once it kicks off on the opening night with those 200 screenings, from the time we started production all the way through the release, anyone else that wants to can request an additional screening in their area for people to go to, whether it's that night or any night beyond it. So the entire theatrical run only goes as long as the demand is for it. People are requesting it in the theaters, and and for anyone else that wants to watch it in the traditional sense, it's traditional. All the VOD sense is all
the way we all watch things now.
Yeah.
But anyone that wants to watch it,
forced to with a child.
We're able to also do the day and date release where we can have it on the VOD platforms. We can have it available on YouTube pay-per-view, Distrify pay-per-view, iTunes, all of that stuff as any other normal film would.
Gotcha. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool plan.
Did we miss anything in the question?
No, I think you covered it. I'm clear. Let's see. I asked you that. Rehearsal. Do you guys want to have rehearsal before or?
Oh yeah, especially with the Tony role, I would definitely want to sit down. Ideally, again, the whole collaboration process, whether it's you or someone else, if whoever's casting the Tony role, I'd want to go through the script line by line, get their thoughts, kind of focus it towards their natural dialect and how they kind of speak, so it's personalized. I mean, I always, once I get to know a person that's going to be doing a role or whatever, I like to personalize it a little bit more for their strengths, weaknesses, my feel for their personality, stuff like that, to just kind of make it a little more intimate. So awesome. I would prefer at least a couple rehearsals with all three of the characters, but primarily the Tony role, going through, making sure we're on the same page with every connotation, every tone, syllable of what it is, and that you, the actor, is comfortable with what the words are coming out of your mouth and why they're coming out.
Perfect. Awesome. You hit that. I think you answered all my questions.
Did you have any questions about the story itself or about the character? I know Chris has been a little bit tight-lipped about more of the background and specific motivations. Was there anything that you had specific questions about?
Not about that. I mean, I get the gist. I'm a pretty good detective, and having been in this business for as long as I have,
I kind of get it.
Anyone going on to round 4, we're going to be providing the script before we do round 4, so you'll have the whole thing to read over, go through, to ask any questions and stuff like that. Cool. The basic plan for round 4 is it's going to be a Google Hangout, very similar to this, except there'll be 3 of you in it, and we're going to kind of mix and match the top 3 of each of the roles. Nice. There's only 3 Tonys left that we thought were viable candidates, so you're going
into round 4.
But going on to round 4.
This is a chance for you to ask us questions.
It doesn't mean tank the rest of the interview.
To get to know you too, because we really liked your yeah.
Thank you.
You did a really great read in the second one. You hit everything just right. It was good.
But it'll be done over the Hangouts like this, and we're going to do basically a chemistry read or a table read. It'll be one little scene. We might mix and match a couple times with different variations just to see.
For different actors.
Yeah, different ones of that, see who has the best click. We want to make sure there's chemistry there.
That is one of the things you'll notice when you get the script is when we say 3 characters, you're like, oh, it looks a whole lot different when you're reading it through, and you're like, wow, it really does. Like, you are the central pivoting point of the whole movie. Everyone else is there to help you come to your big decision as Tony on where you want your life to go, what means the most at this present moment. And wow, cool. I think you'll do a very good job in your read.
Just letting everyone know as well, it was stated in the initial process, but we want to remind everybody, there is no guarantee that we'll be casting all the roles from the process. We're looking for the right actors more than we're running a contest. If it works that both work out, that's the ideal scenario, but we're not going to just cast somebody just to cast somebody. We believe that out of the actors that we have, we'll definitely find at least 1, maybe 2 of the roles, but we're not sure all 3 will be cast.
Gotcha.
We'll know more by round 4, how well everything works out, and just making sure, like you said, if you have to improv, we want it to actually sound as natural. We would like all 3 of you to be able to take the improv and no one get lost and still keep in character and keep along the storyline. Like that's one of the big things. We want to make sure it has that clicky, fun, good feel.
This isn't so much for you, Gene, as it will be for anyone watching the recording or anything of this, but we've got set up with your referral link on the side here. There's some cards. One of them is the Indiegogo page through your referral link. So if anyone clicks on it, they can support the campaign, and it'll go towards a vote of support for you as well. Hopefully, if anyone uses it, it'll also, we've got referral programs going to have cash incentives, equity incentives, all of those things based on that. But we've got your link right there to be used, and we'll be spreading it around as it goes on. And thank you so much again for doing this process with us.
Thank you. It was fun.
Do you any other questions, last minute thoughts or anything?
I mean, no. I can give you one nifty thing that may spark your creative situation. I did a film recently where they had an editor on set editing the film as it was being shot.
Yep, that is definitely one of the things that we're planning on doing. Is we're going to try and have it being edited at the same time, as well as while we're on set, we're going to have a doc team there, so that there can be live streaming, but also so they can make videos where we can do updates and they can send it out while it's happening.
The great part about the way we're going to be shooting and the fact that we're going to be editing as we go with that is if we need pickups, retakes, anything, we don't have to reset anything up. We don't have to go backwards. It's just redeliver the lines the next day, whatever it is. So we're going to know at all times as we go along. Or if we come up with something at any point in time, we can add that back in as well. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with YouTube Studios at all?
Yeah. I actually shot something at YouTube Studios, though in New York, but not. Yeah. I had to go back and do a pickup shoot for a film.
Our dream location is to shoot this at the YouTube Studios, just pull a limo on, shoot it there, be able to live stream everything onto YouTube from there, release the film on YouTube, and all of that. We run into the problem that we're too small to talk to anybody that can make a decision. So all the low-level people, they love the idea, but they don't have anybody to talk to.
Right.
But through this process, and this was another thing that kind of inspired the social casting, if we raise and generate a high enough subscriber rate, so anyone watching this, please subscribe on YouTube. If we get a high enough subscriber rate, we can use the studios and shoot there. So that's been one of our goals. I don't know if you noticed I haven't been in the New York one, but here in the LA one, you can plug the camera into the wall. So when you hit cut on your takes, literally it goes across the room to the editing bays, and they've got the cut.
Instantaneously.
No transfers, none of that stuff.
You don't even have to take anything out of the camera.
Yeah,
they have it. It's the same over there in New York. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's like a kid in a candy store. You know,
the way we're doing with everything being live and engaging people, and we want to be able to sell movie tickets as it's going along, and all of those things. It's imperative once the ball starts rolling and we know we're going into production that each stage builds on the one before it. So we don't want to go into post production for 6 months, lose all of our momentum, and kill all of that. So we're looking at 3 months tops turnaround before we're on the road and heading out on that tour for everything that's going on. So the production leads right into the pre-promotions for the tour, and it's all nice and sustainable. And editing from day one is a key to that.
Like, how nice would it be if 2 days after we're done shooting, it's done edited? We're like, and it's ready to go.
I know.
You all enjoy your 2 days off.
So fantastic. Like that movie that I worked on, literally within a week at the wrap party, he had a full-on trailer, and then within 2 months it was done, color corrected, the whole 9 yards, music, spotting, blah blah blah, done.
Yep. That's our kind of pipeline. That everything we're doing here is to establish that type of turnaround.
Awesome. Very cool.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thank you so much for the time, Gene, and
thanks.
Have a great night on the front porch, man.
Thanks. You too. Have fun.
Later.
Thank you. Bye, Gene.
Wait, Gene. Just to let you know what to expect from here. Next week, we're going to be doing all the interviews and stuff, and then we're going to leave at least a week afterwards for people to watch the interviews, engage with them, maybe donate to the campaigns through their favorite actors and all of that stuff. And then about a week after we wrap up the interviews, then we're going to start making the decisions on round 4. And by the end of August, middle to late August is when we want to do towards kind of the culmination of the crowdfund campaign. We want to kind of wrap it up with the chemistry reads.
So there's going to be a bit of time for you to be able to read the script. We're going to be doing Google Hangouts every Sunday night. So if any actors or anyone has anything that they want to know about, if you wanted to get a hold of Chris and just right there instead of doing it on email or text or whatever, you can also catch him there, and we can answer any and all questions.
Awesome. Very cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gene.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.